Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Cooks by Carrie. For today's Foodie Friday video, I am sharing how to make these roasted vegetables. This is a part of a 4-part series that there's already a video out on how to make a roasted chicken, and next week's videos will be how to make dinner rolls and how to cook rice. So without further ado, let me show you how to roast these veggies. Alrighty, for this recipe, you're going to need several things. You're going to need 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, a half a teaspoon of dried rosemary, 2 onions, a bag of finger-length potatoes, 3 stalks of celery, a half of a lemon, 2 minced garlic cloves, a half a teaspoon salt, a half a teaspoon black pepper, and 8 medium-sized carrots, and a thing of fennel. If anyone knows what you call a thing of fennel, please leave it in the comments down below because neither me or my family knew what to call it other than a thing. Alrighty, to start this recipe off, you need to roughly chop or dice your onion. And you will also notice that my dad is doing the cooking for this recipe again. So you'll notice that those are his hands, not mine. So yeah, basically, to start off by chopping an onion, you want to cut the ends off and then peel the skin off. And then from there, you can just chop it. And now I actually learned a technique for chopping, so holding the knife. You kind of hold, it's kind of hard to explain without showing you, but you hold 3 fingers under the knife, and then you hold your index finger on the side of the knife, and then your thumb kind of near your 3 fingers on the knife. I don't know if that makes any sense, but maybe you can see kind of like, it's sort of like how my dad is holding it. It's just, you're going to extend like 1 finger out on the side. So yeah, and you want to just make sure to throw away the ends, and then you can begin chopping. And when you chop, you'll be able to see that we want the pieces to be still relatively big, but not too big, maybe a medium size. So yeah, and you want to make sure that you have no skin because that's really gross. So if you notice any little flies off while you're chopping, just throw it away. Okay, so hopefully you'll be able to see here that when the onion gets chopped up, you want to hold it with your knuckles, not your fingers out, because like if you were to chop, you would get your fingers, or that's what would happen, you'd cut your fingers. But if you have your knuckles out, you wouldn't cut anything, it just goes straight down. And so you're gonna you see my dad cut some like this, just holding them, and the most important part is to make sure that like the knife is not going to slide because of the way that the onions are sitting. Another way you can do this if you're kind of new to the knife is instead of just having your fingers right near, you can set it up and then like set up how you want to cut it, and then instead of having your fingers next to it, put your hand on top of the knife and chop down. But anything works. And also you'll notice that this is a dish, this little glass dish is what we started cooking with, but we realized this was way too small, so we actually used like a pretty big lasagna pan, but you can use like any large pan for this. So yeah, and you just want to repeat this with your second onion. And at this point, you can also add in your olive oil to the pan. Alrighty, so now it's time to prep the carrots. What you want to do is grab a peeler and peel your carrots. This is important just because like no one really wants to eat the sides of the carrots. It's just cleaner or whatever, nicer looking when there's not this like outer layer on them. So you want to start by peeling them, and then to chop them, you are going to chop off the 2 ends, or whatever, the top and the bottom, and then slice them into pieces. And how my dad does it is he made the pieces in the end be kind of like half sticks, if that makes sense. So one cut horizontally down the carrot, and then chop that in half. You could also, if you wanted to dice them into, or not dice, chop them into circles, you could do that as well. But the most important part is just that all of the carrots are the same size so that they will cook evenly. So yeah, this, roasted vegetables are really delicious, a really good thing to learn how to make. And while they do require a lot of prep work, it's really all, you just sit back and watch them when they actually roast. Okay, so at this point is when we realize that we need a way bigger pan, so you can kind of see it on the back of the screen. So we're just moving all of that in there, and then we are going to go ahead and start prepping the other vegetables after we give the carrots and the onions a little bit of a stir or whatever. Maybe not a stir, but just like you want to make sure that they're all in there. So then it is time to add in the fingerling potatoes as well. Fingerling potatoes are so easy. You just wash them and throw them in because they're so small. Like, you don't have to chop them or anything. And then there's a couple more things that get chopped up. So it starts off with the celery gets chopped up. And then the fennel is going to be completely chopped up. Okay, so here's how to chop your celery. What you want to do is, now some people may say that this is a little bit of a waste of the celery, but you want to chop off the bottom and the top because that part isn't good. And then from there, to save some time, you can cut all three at once, or you can cut them one at a time. But you just want to cut, little pieces off of it using the knife techniques that I talked about before, and roughly make them about the same size. Alrighty, now here's how to cut the fennel. And fun fact, fennel smells kind of like licorice, which is kind of funny. So yeah. Now, you can use a lot of this, but we just use the bottom part. So, to me, the bottom kind of looks like an onion, but I don't know. That's just me. So, just chop it like that. So, chopping like big slices, kind of like an onion slice. Not like how we slice onion, but I don't know if it reminds anyone else of an onion. And then we're going to use a little bit of the top too, or whatever. Like, we're going to continue going into a little bit of the green, and we added a few of the, like, I'm going to call them springs, like the little green, it's not really a leaf, but like the leaves, I guess. But you don't want to add too much because, that would just be very excessive. So then my dad is going in and he is going to dice it up into small-ish pieces. Not super small. It's not a mince, but just like a dice. And here are what the vegetables look like. There is a lot of them, as you can tell. So this feeds a lot of people. Yeah, so it's either good for leftovers or good for a party or something. So also, my dad just turned them up with a spatula, but you can use a fork, a spoon, really whatever, tongs, anything that you have on hand. And then it's also a little bit hard to tell here, but my dad is going in and spraying some more extra virgin olive oil onto the vegetables. So you can do that at this point as well. Alright guys, before I continue with this video, please subscribe, hit that thumbs up, comment down below what you'd like to see next, and share this video with a friend if you like it. I have a goal of 100 subscribers, so anything that you can do to help promote my channel is greatly appreciated. Also, turn that notification bell on so you never miss when I post a new video. Alright you guys, let's finish these roasted vegetables. Okay, so now the dried rosemary, salt, and black pepper are being added to the vegetables, and they are being stirred up. And at this point, the minced garlic is being added and stirred up. Now, you may think, oh, mine looks a little funny, but if you've seen my videos for a while now, you know that whenever I need to use garlic, I have been using the frozen and pre-minced kind from my local grocery store. I love this stuff. It makes cooking so much easier. It takes a lot of, the simple prep time out of it. I know it's not hard to chop garlic, minced garlic, but, it just makes it so much more simple if you have it this way. But also, if you don't, just add in whatever minced garlic you have on hand. And now the lemon is being added in. So just a reminder, this is just half a lemon chopped up into little wedges, and then they're being juiced. You don't have to chop them up this small to juice them, but I think my dad just thought it'd be easier, and it kind of is easier. You can focus on just a small amount at a time. But you can juice the lemon any way you choose. And this is actually the last step before it goes in the oven. So at this point, after you've added all the ingredients, you can go ahead and stir up the dish, just to make sure everything is combined and it's all good. Now I'm popping this into the oven at about 400 degrees. Now my oven is wonky, so this is probably maybe like 375 or so. But I'm popping them in for about 45 minutes to an hour. I did increase the temperature because I was cooking the roast chicken that you saw in the last video. So the temperature may have risen a little bit, but I think if you cook them at, if you're cooking the chicken from the other video, then obviously you can just cook them together. You're just going to need to pull the vegetables out way sooner than the chicken. But if you're just cooking these on their own, then I think 375 for 45 minutes to an hour is perfectly fine. But again, do what's best for you and what's best for your oven. And here is the finished product. These vegetables were delicious. Add maybe a little bit of salt on top once you put them on your plate. But they were so good, and they really complement that chicken really well. So, or any chicken for that matter. I definitely recommend you try this recipe out and these roasted vegetables if you have never had them before. But I'm pretty sure roast vegetables are kind of common, but they're still a great skill to learn. And that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please follow me on Instagram at Cooks by Carrie. I post lots of photos of the food I cook. And that's all for today's video. Make sure to tune into the bread video coming on Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's it for today. Bye, guys, and have a great weekend.